Mr. Van Orden, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It was brought up during our testimony today that unfortunately some of the pollution that's in water comes from agriculture. I'd like to remind everyone here that all food also comes from agriculture. I'm not going to mince words. This bill would be more aptly named WOTUS, as it's mostly confusing, partially nonsensical, not based in science, and will cause many more negative unintended consequences than I believe the Biden administration has contemplated. Under this new WOTUS rule, about 85% of the waterways in my congressional district will be subject to EPA oversight. In some places in my district, it would actually harm the environment, and I'm going to tell you exactly why. Several of my farmers are pioneers in environmental stewardship. What they started to do is they were collecting the runoff from agriculture in these ponds that they dug. And so what happens is the phosphates and nitrates settle to the bottom, then they're able to recycle the water, and they can also recycle some of these nitrates and phosphates, which lowers their input costs, which are killing everybody. So they partially recycle that. Again, it lowers the cost for everybody across the board. So if WOTUS goes into effect, these farmers will stop these practices as their ponds will become navigable waterways and subject to draconian federal regulations. And what this means is that all of these ag byproducts will actually enter the watersheds and wind up in the Mississippi River. That is the exact opposite intended consequence of this foolish regulation. We're concerned with the disappearance of small family farms who are just getting by due to skyrocketing costs, yet you appear to be advocating, this rule appears to be advocating for adding additional costs to their operations. So, Mr. Owens, you said that you have been to farms before. I've got boots in my office that have manure on them from a small family farm. And my first question to you is, when's the last time you stepped in manure on a small family farm?
This isn't the last time, but even though I grew up in the suburbs, we were the one house in the Boston suburb that got regular deliveries of horse manure from my mother's garden. Right. So I grew up not only stepping in that manure, but offending the entire neighborhood.
Great, and how old are you now, Mr. Owen?
What's that?
How old are you now?
I'm 48 now.
How old were you then?
That was when I was a kid. More recently.
Okay, so 30 to 40 years ago is the answer to that question.
No, it's not. Yep. It's more recent than that.
Mr. Owen?
But next question.
So here's your next question. How many family farmers, township chairmen, and county board supervisors did you personally speak to about the economic effect that this is going to have on their villages, their townships, and their farms? How many did you personally speak to before you prepared yourself to come here to testify about the awesome economic and environmental effect of this foolish rule?
In preparing this testimony, I did not speak out to anyone.
Okay, that's my concern, Mr. Owen, is that we have a bunch of nameless bureaucrats who are trying to apply a 4,000-mile screwdriver to fix a problem that they can't even see. So when we have people that are deciding the fates of our family farmers without firsthand knowledge, they're actually degrading the ability of them to produce food for the world. And that is shameful. And we gotta stop it. So I'm gonna encourage you and the rest of your folks to get out there and talk to these farmers. Go to the township meetings. Ask them how it's gonna affect them. It's gonna destroy family farming. And I'm not willing to stand by and let that happen. With that, I yield back.